question is now on passage of item 26. In favor? Opposed? The item passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Now, let me give a few thank yous. Let me thank the negotiating team for the City of Houston, Arturo, Michelle, and your entire team. The entire team, not all of them are here, but most of them are here. So let me thank the City of Houston's negotiating team because you all were the ones who sat down at many of those meetings, and there were a number of them, and lengthy ones at that. So I really want to thank the negotiating team for the City of Houston. And then let me thank the negotiating team for our police officers, HPOU, Doug, Ray, and the others as well. So let me thank the negotiating team for police officers. These negotiations are never easy ones. There are a lot of things that go into them, so I really appreciate the collective effort. And then in the end, they simply came and visited with me. There are many elements that we take into account. And number one is that we recognize the crime situation that we are experiencing right now. We're all looking at the numbers all the time, and we're constantly calling on police officers to respond. We're calling on community members to get engaged. But I'm very passionate about making sure that we create the right atmosphere in this city for our men and women in blue. And I do want to say this. In this city, we have never defunded police in this city. We've never done that. We have always stood with our police officers and recognized their work. And we'll continue to do that. And at the same time, we have listened and been responsive to community voices. So we've done that. So I'm very passionate about the work that law enforcement is doing. I'm very passionate about the conditions within communities that have been underserved and under-resourced. So, but it is important to create the right atmosphere and to send the right messages to the people in our city overall, that this is a good place to work, that we value the work that people do, especially our police officers. We want them to come and join HPD, and we want them to come join and stay and make it into a career. But in addition to the pay, and there's a lot of conversations about pay oftentimes, and even in respect to the changes, 180-day, 48 rule. But we also want to create the right atmosphere because it's a very stressful job. And police officers don't just lose their lives on the street fighting criminals. They are also human beings with imperfect bodies, okay? And it is a very stressful job. And not only do they have to meet the needs of criminals on the street, they also have families. They've got spouses. They've got children, okay? They have their own lives. And you never know what pressures that they are facing day in and day out. So their own emotional and mental wellness is also critically important, okay? Because oftentimes we're here when a police officer is shot, but may not hear as much when a police officer is experiencing mental and emotional issues, okay? But that's important too, and we have to recognize that. So we don't want to do anything to make their lives more stressful than they need to be. Yes, we want the accountability. We want people to be responsive and all of that. But we also recognize that when you have people out there on the front line, they also need to know from us that we are supportive, that we are praying for them, lifting them up, and we recognize that they have families of their own. Because it is a tough job. It's a tough job. So we don't want them fighting the criminals on the street, and at the same time fighting everybody else. Because I'm not a police officer, we're not police officers, but as elected officials, we all know how stressful it can be. That even when we're trying to do the right thing, there are people out here who are critics. You know, if you go to the left, you got critics. You go to the right, you got critics. You try to stay in the center, you got critics. You know, it's...
You know, Mayor, what I've discovered is that if you stay in the middle of the road, you get run over by
both sides. Yeah. So y'all know it's not easy. It's not easy. So we deal with those pressures ourselves. We deal with that. And there's no perfect person, but we have to wrestle with it the best we can.